Imagine having a fear so overwhelming that it dictates your every move, a fear of heights so intense that it borders on a rare phobia. Yet this very fear was the catalyst for one of the most incredible transformations in Bear Grylls' life. You might be surprised to learn that despite his fear, he became known for doing exactly what terrified him, jumping out of helicopters from unimaginable heights. Bear Grylls wasn't just any adventurer, he was a member of the United Kingdom's elite special forces. His skill in parachuting was unmatched. But in 1996, during a mission in Zambia, his life changed forever. Bear jumped from a staggering 16,000 feet, but something went horribly wrong. Despite opening his parachute, it didn't deploy properly, sending him plummeting towards the earth. He crashed into the ground, colliding with rocks and trees, and his back was shattered. Lying there, Bear could hardly move, writhing in agony. The pain was so unbearable that he later admitted he would have preferred death over enduring that torment. Yet, even as he lay there, his hope rested on one thing: his comrades would find and save him. When they finally did, Bear was rushed to a hospital in Africa. The doctors gave him a grim diagnosis: he might never walk again. At just 31 years old, Bear's world collapsed around him. 3 of his vertebrae were not just broken, they were crushed into dust. He couldn't move, and he spent a year in the hospital, bedridden, thinking his life as he knew it was over. The man who lived for adventure now faced a future where even walking seemed impossible. But Bear Grylls isn't one to give up easily. Lying in his hospital bed, surrounded by darkness and despair, he was haunted by thoughts of what could have been. His dreams of exploring new places and embarking on daring adventures seemed forever out of reach. Night after sleepless night, he was consumed by hopelessness, even beginning to loathe himself. Months passed, and Bear saw no signs of recovery. The pain grew worse, and his body began to break down. Depression took hold of him, making even the simplest tasks unbearable. He was no longer the positive, resilient man his friends knew. He was broken, both physically and mentally. But then, one lonely night, something changed. As he lay in bed, Bear noticed a picture of the Himalayas on the wall, a mountain he had always dreamed of conquering with his father. The picture was covered in dust, just like his hopes and dreams. That night, something clicked. Despite being alone, Bear found the courage to get up and wipe away the dust. He realized that if he wanted to survive, he needed to find the strength within himself. The next morning, Bear remembered something his grandmother used to tell him: everything happens for a reason, and every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. He realized that despite the accident, he was still alive, and maybe, just maybe, there was a reason for it. For the first time in months, he began to see a glimmer of hope. Bear decided that he wouldn't let his injury define him. Instead, he would focus on healing his mind first. He believed that if he could control his mind, his body would follow. Slowly but surely, Bear began to recover. His bones started to heal, and with each passing day, he grew stronger. The words of a close friend echoed in his mind: "Injury is like a rebirth. You have no past to worry about and no future to fear, just the present to be grateful for." Bear was grateful for the second chance at life. And with that gratitude came a renewed determination. He looked at the picture of Mount Everest and made a promise to himself: "When I recover, I will climb this mountain." Even though he could barely walk, Bear was already planning his ascent of Mount Everest. He told everyone around him about his goal, but few took him seriously. Yet, Bear was undeterred. His mind and body aligned with his goal, and he began to heal faster. Just 18 months after that fateful accident, on May 16, 1998, Bear Grylls stood on the summit of Mount Everest, fulfilling a childhood dream. He had become one of the youngest Brits to ever achieve this feat. The journey was anything but easy. He witnessed his team members perish and narrowly escape death himself, but he persevered, driven by a fire that no injury could extinguish. Bear Grylls didn't just conquer Everest, he conquered the world. His story became legendary, leading to documentaries, seminars, and eventually the show Man vs. Wild that introduced him to millions. So if a man who was told he'd never walk again can stand on top of the world, what's stopping you? Bear Grylls' journey is proof that with enough determination, anything is possible. You have everything you need within you, just like Bear did.